All right, in this video, we're going to be looking at the map function within Python. So let's start off with the map function. Okay. So let's say I have, run that, cool. Let's say I have a basic function. We're going to call it, actually, let's just, real quick, let's clear out all of this because I've been running a lot of stuff to make sure I have a nice, good, clean kernel to run it all. So again, map function, okay? And we're going to create a function. We'll call it square. It's going to take in a number, okay? And what it's going to do, it's going to return my nums and it's going to return them squared. Nice and simple, done. That's the whole function. And I'm going to say I have my nums here. It's going to be a list. We'll call it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 18, and 9. I don't know. Doesn't matter. We create a list, right? I have that. And let's say I want to now run my function on my list. So I go square and I put in my nums and I get an error. Why? Well, because my function itself does not iterate through my list. It's expecting one single number to be going in there. And I said, hey, here's a whole bunch of them, run it. It doesn't work that way. So this is where the map function comes in handy, where it's really kind of interesting to use. So let's get that out of the way. So I have my square, I have my list, right? And let's show you how I can use the map function. So the map function allows me to apply my square function to all the numbers in my list. So instead of iterating through each single one, my map function basically allows me to do this big, large application to all of them. So let's show you how that works. So let's create a little for loop for us. So for item in map, okay? It's going to take in my square, so it's going to take in my function. So this is my function here. It's going to take in my list, so my nums. So again, it takes in my function, takes my list, my nums, right? And we're going to print the items. Okay, so it's going to iterate through it and print them. Print, oh, I added an S, print item, sorry. So now when it runs it, it'll go square of 1, 2, 3, and so on. So it's going to iterate through it using the map. So the map, again, says apply this function to all of these numbers. Cool, makes sense? So a way you can do this is, actually I'll show you just like this as well. So I can do map, I can take in my square, I can take in my nums, I can run it, and I get a location. Okay, well, this can't really work with this data here. That doesn't do me much good. I can then assign it to a list. So by assigning it to a list, I can basically, well, I know I'm passing in a list, so I ideally want to get a list back of everything that has been ran. So I can pull my map, call the function that I want to apply everything to, and the list I want it to go to, I run it, and now instead of getting this for loop running through everything, I get it as this nice, pretty list that I can, later use, which is great. Okay, let's show another example of how we can use this map function. Let's create actually a brand new function, and let's call it string Splicer. All right, and it's going to take in my string, and what it's going to do is it's going to say if the length of, let's say, yeah, if the length of my string is even, so mod 2 equals 0, I want it to return I am even, okay? Else, it's gonna return, what else do I want to return? Let's have it actually return the index, so where it's not even. Or sorry, let's have it return the first letter, the very first letter of the string that's not even. That way I can look at it later on, all right? So I have that, great. And let's create my string, create a list. We'll call it names, and we'll have a few names here. We'll go Max, we'll say Will, we have 11, and let's have Vecna, for example. All right, so I have my list of names. Let's run that. Great, got my list of names. Now, same issue that we had before. If I want to go through every single one of these names, I have to iterate through them. So I create a for loop and I go through it. However, I want to just use my map function, excuse me, and save some time. So as before, we're going to create it as a list because I want it to be a little more readable. I'll use my map. I'm going to apply my string splicer function, and I want to apply it to names. Okay? I run it, and now I get every single name that's either even or I get the first letter. So Max is not even, Will is, 11 is, and Vecna isn't. All right? And that's how you use the map function within Python.